Hey everybody, this is Kevin Purcell, and I'm with Church Tech today. Today I want to show you the new Logos 8 Bible software. They just updated it at the very end of October 2018, and it's got some interesting new features. So I want to give you a quick overview of what it looks like. You'll notice here the home page looks a little bit different than it used to if you're used to Logos. They used to have something that looked more like this. It's a little cleaner. The home page had kind of a hodgepodge of articles and links to books and videos and such. They still have that at the bottom here, but at the top they have something new called the dashboard. You'll notice it right here, the dashboard. And in your dashboard you have things like your reading plans and your prayer lists. You can add new things. Click this plus button, and when you click that, it gives you a drop down of all the things that you can add. You can add one of your courses. Those are video courses that help you learn about how to use the Bible and use the software while studying the Bible. Daily devotionals, a new layout that maybe you want. So let's go ahead and try that. Add a new layout. Pick from these layouts. Layouts are arrangements of all the different windows on screen. And so let's look at, we'll do the Bible journaling layout. Add that to it. And you notice that's now a card in the dashboard. Now if you click the little menu there, you can remove the card, but if you click on it, it's going to open it. Also, you have a settings button right here that tells you or allows you to change how many columns. You can either auto, which will set up the number of columns that will fit on the screen, or 3, 4, and 5. This will just refresh it. That sort of sends you, cleans up the screen a little bit, that kind of thing. Here's one of the layouts for a quick start. That's a study Bible, passage study. And so what these do is you just click on them, and it closes the home page, and it's going to open up whatever you had in that layout. And so in that layout, I had the Christian Standard Bible. I think it's just grabbing my first Bible on my list and my first commentary, which is the New American Commentary, and then, of course, the Bible Explorer window over here. You can also find these layouts, by the way, by clicking the layout button up here in the corner. And notice here the quick start layouts, your home page, and then ones that you have created down here. You go back to that dashboard by the home button, and you can find all these contents. I'm not going to go through all that. Another big change is they've moved the search button into the command box. It used to be that they had a separate button for search and command. But let's say now you want to search for predestined. All right. And so first thing it's going to do is it offers you a guide, the Bible Word Study Guide, or it'll search in one of 3 ways. This is just a general search, and this is searching in your top Bible, and this will search your entire library. Now the first search, I think it mainly just looks for it in your dictionaries. If it's a Greek or Hebrew word, it'll probably look in lexicons. It gives you the fuzzy search in your top library, and then some in your top book, and then some library results. But you'll also notice something. Let's try a different search. We're going to do grace. That's a very common word, so it's going to be in a lot of places. And so we're going to, by the way, if it's in one of your libraries, it'll offer to open it in a library. So Saved by Grace is a book by John Runyon. It'll open these books. It'll again do the Bible guide, Word Study Guide. But let's just search in everything for the word grace. Notice how quick that is. Logos was terribly slow in its searching prior to this. One of the big things that they are emphasizing in this new release of Logos Bible Software 8 is how fast the searching. They say up to 10 times faster. Now notice that the Close All button that they now have is a little bit different. That brings you now, instead of just a blank screen, it brings you back to the home screen, which is the dashboard plus the Explorer screen. Now one of the things that you can add to your dashboard is something called a workflow. You also can access these by going to the guides, and notice it has all these workflows. What's a workflow? Well, think of it like a guide. If you're used to Logos Bible software, they've always had the passage guide, the Bible Word Study Guide, the Exegetical Guide. They later added things like the Topic Guide. I think they maybe had that from the beginning. But now they have some more: Expository Sermon, the Biblical Person Study, the Exegetical, the Theology Guide. So they've added a few, but think of workflows as kind of like a guide, only it takes the idea of a guide, which is the guides go out and look to your library to find all the stuff about that topic or that passage that you want to find. Only in a workflow, what it does is it will sort of take you through the steps of a workflow. For example, this expository sermon prep workflow. It teaches you and takes you through the steps of doing study of an expository sermon. So let's look down here, and we're going to open. This is my favorite. I like that guide better than the rest. You enter a passage. Let's see. I'm going to do Galatians 6, 1, 2, 5. Bear and share the burdens. It's a passage I probably will be preaching on very soon. And so notice it has all these steps. Now you can collapse or expand each of these steps, but then it gives you an idea. Here's what: prepare yourself and plan ahead. And you just read through this. The preliminary planning for your sermon preparation may include prayer, selection of a passage. You just go on and you read all of that. Hit the More button, and it'll give you some more information about it. Desired outcomes. You will prayerfully consider your personal readiness to preach. Okay, so you can read through that, and it'll sort of teach you how to do an expository sermon preparation. Now, when you're done with that, you hit skip, and notice that it moves you to the very next section. Begin with prayer, and then it offers some of these boxes. Again, let's hit that. The desired outcomes. It offers one of these boxes. These turn into notes. So you'll see them when you look at your notes entries. Without any specific concerns weighing on your heart as you consider, write out any specific concerns. And so you can read through the passage and see what, it prayerfully, what it might be making you think about. So you might say, well, let's skip that, or let's continue it. If you hit continue, it goes on to the very next stage. And notice all the different steps here. Study your passage. Identify the basic facts. Read your passage in the original languages. So let's look at the facts. Okay. Desired outcomes. List the facts about your passage. Who wrote it? Who was the original audience? When was it written? What is the message of the book or purpose for which it was written? So that's basic. I call those observations, but it calls them facts. And you can read it in the original languages if you care to do so. Gives you a chance. You can use the Greek or Hebrew Bible, such as SBL Greek New Testament or the Lexham Hebrew Bible. So if you click on that, it'll open it up. Unfortunately, I think it should open right to the passage that you're studying. It doesn't necessarily do that, so we're going to type it in. But if you are good enough with Greek, you can read it, so you can read through that and study it right there in Greek. Write down some observations. But you notice you can keep on going. Explore the cultural and historical context. All right, so that's going to talk to you about using timelines and things like that. Identify the biblical cross-references. So it's going to help you find cross-references for your passage. Let's look at this. Romans 15:1 opens up a Christian Standard, which is your #1 Bible, and you can read through all of these, or you can just hover over to quickly read it. And you can either sort them by rank or by type. So maybe it's got commentary entries. It's going to do a little search here of these commentary entries. I'm really excited about workflows. There's a lot of different kinds of workflows. I'm going to go ahead and close that, or you could have just hit the X button up there. In fact, I'll close all. Again, go back to the guides. Notice I've started a number of workflows. If you want to get rid of one, you can. Let me find that Galatians, and you can delete that. So you get rid of that. A word study guide, workflow. It'll teach you how to do that. So workflows, I think, are just guides. I think it's like Guide 2.0. They're better guides. They're new and improved guides. Now, you can still use the old guides if you prefer. And it also has Bible reference guides. So basically, they've taken the guides and just really going all in with them. So there's a whole bunch of different kinds of guides based on different types of books that you might have in your library. And then completed ones are down here. So, I deleted it, and so it put it in the completed section. But you can add these here, or you can get to them through the guides section. Now, I have my copy of Logos set with all of these customized links up here at the top window, and so I'm going to click on one to open up my Christian Standard Bible. It always drives me nuts that it puts it in the left-hand column, so I almost always move it over here. By the way, you could, if you want, just drag and drop and put it there. But I know that I have recently studied Galatians 5:16, and so it has some notes, and these are the note indicators. This is a community note, but I'm going to click on one, and it's going to open up the new notes feature. And by default, notes look like this. It has the facets over here. Facets are basically just different ways to filter your notes. So all the notes that I have on the Holman Christian Standard Bible, all the notes that I have on a book called Christ-Centered Preaching, all the notes that I have on a Bible or a bibliographic item. These are notebooks, so all my Bible notes by author, you or others, 7 others, modified in the last 7 days. Let's click on that, and we're going to find the most recent notes that I've created. So I had a note on Galatians 5:16, and notice it's going to open here. Now, if I can get rid of these by clicking this. This closes this section here. If I don't want this here, I can use the expand button. Now notice it has some basic formatting up here. You can change the font. You can change the font size, bold, italics, underline, strike through, and small caps. You can change the foreground color, the background color. Do lists, indentations, add a link if you want to add a link. Let's say that I got this, let me see, I think I can find, okay, it says NAC. So I found this information from the NAC. If I wanted, I didn't do this, but if I wanted, I could hit the link button, and I could copy my location. If you go over here, here's a new thing. They put this stuff over here. It used to be over in a button where it showed the book cover over here. Now it's in this little menu button over here on the right. So I could copy the URL. I could paste it in there and then hit save, and it will, every time I click on that link, it'll then open it to this book. Now I'm not going to do this because that's not the NAC, that's the English Standard Version. But you can do that. All right. Notes, I think, are better and worse at the same time. Okay, first of all, Logos used to require you to create a whole bunch of note files because they would always they'd always cause it to crash after you got a very large note file. You don't have to worry about that anymore. They've handled that memory problem really well, so you don't have to worry so much about it. However, it doesn't have as many features as it once did. They're getting close. They've been working on this for over a year now, maybe even 2, I'm not sure. Probably internally for almost 2 years. And if you've been using their web app recently, you probably have seen the notes feature in the web app. So I like it. It's better, but yet it's worse. And so when it gets totally feature-rich and feature-complete from the previous version of Notes, I like it better. Now, one thing I do like is I go over here and select, let's say I want to do a note on the fruit of the Spirit, Galatians 5:22 and 23. So I can click this and new note on selected text. And so if I click on that, it's going to give me this anchor. An anchor is basically just, that's a link to that passage. This is an ESV anchor. If I want, I can add it, and it'd be just Galatians 5:22 to 23. And that way it'll show up in, see, that's a weird thing. I don't know why this does this, but sometimes it doesn't add it properly unless you wait for the drop down, click on it, and then hit add. So now it will link not only to the ESV but to every Bible. If you don't see a translation after it, it's going to link it to every single Bible. So I'm actually going to delete the one that's only on the ESV. But you can add other anchors. And so now you can type in your notes and then add tags down here. If you're a person who likes to search by tags, so I could put fruit, Spirit, Holy Spirit, all right, and I can add all of those things. So I'm actually going to delete this note entirely because I don't really want to have it show up in the future. I was just doing it for demonstration purposes. And one other cool feature that you might want to check out is the, let's see if I can find it, the Canvas feature. If you go into Docs, instead of all the new kinds of docs being listed here, now you get these filters over here. I don't really like this. I wish they would have left this list over here, but they didn't do that. So now you have to go to New and click that, and there's a thing called a canvas. Okay? And a canvas, it'll open with a blank canvas, and you can add things. So let's say we want to do that, and if we wanted to, we could, put some type in here. This is fruit of the Spirit. Okay, and now we'll create some lines. Okay, so the fruit of the Spirit is this is kind of laborious, to be quite honest with you. I don't know how much I'll actually use it, but some people have created some pretty cool canvases, I guess is the way you would say that. So I'm going to close my canvas, and I'm going to open. Here's an example of one that someone else created, and I imported into my library. And see, these can be interactive. Notice the buttons down here. Hit that, and it gives you a menu. Go down here to the summary, which is the last page, and look at that. Someone really worked hard on that. And if you read the article that I've written, you can find the person's name. I don't remember who it was specifically. But there are backwards and forwards buttons on here. Anyway, there's these. I mean, honestly, you can, whatever you can think of and you're willing to spend the time doing, you can create a canvas about it. Canvases are really like infographics or mind maps, and it's a cool new feature. I really wish that this was in the mobile version that they've just updated, but you can see them in mobile version, but you can't create them or edit them, I don't think. So that's Logos 8. I think it's a good update. I think it's a very worthwhile update. I don't have the pricing yet. Make sure you go over to churchtechtoday.com. I'll have the link to the article in the notes below this. And make sure you go over there and get the costs. If you're already a subscriber to their Faith Life Connect, you'll get it as part of Faith Life Connect when it comes out. It'll be out probably by the time you see this. In fact, it will be out by the time you see this. They shipped it, I think, October 30th or 31st, something around that date. I like it. I will definitely be upgrading. What level I will upgrade, I don't know yet. But I think it's a worthwhile upgrade if you're a Logos 7 or earlier user. Definitely if you're using Logos 6 earlier, you should definitely invest the money to upgrade it. If you're using something like Accordance or some other Bible software, should you switch to come to this? It might be worthwhile just to take a look at it. If you're patient, probably early next year, January, February, March, somewhere around there, they'll offer a free version for you to test. You can also probably get a very low cost basic package just to try out of Logos 8. But I really like it. It's much faster. The workflows are the thing I'm most excited about. They've updated the mobile apps. I think the mobile apps look better and work better. The web app is so much better. If you just go to app.logos.com, you'll be able to see that. The web app is clearly the best web Bible study user interface available. So you'll really like that. So this has been Kevin Purcell for Church Tech Today. Thanks for watching.